He wants to make a deal. I don't know if you can make a deal. The problem is I've empowered you to be a tough guy. And I don't think you'd be a tough guy without the United States. And your people are very brave. But you're either going to make a deal or we're out. And if we're out, you'll fight it out. I don't think it's going to be pretty, but you'll fight it out. But you don't have the cards. But once we sign that deal, you're in a much better position. But you're not acting at all thankful. And that's not a nice thing. I'll be honest, that's not a nice thing. All right, I think we've seen enough. What do you think? Huh? This is going to be great television, I will say that.
Be leaders ourselves.
Black women are being used by the Democrat Party.
All of these socioeconomic indicators are in the negative, particularly for Black people.
They want mob rule. When Trump was in office, please somebody tell me what act of dictatorship did he perform?
She had Donald Trump's hair on top of her head. And she's sitting here talking about brown girl this, brown girl that.
Because she's a Black woman.
They would ask her how to spell her first name and clap like sea monkeys.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
What's up, everybody? It is Friday Night Live, and welcome to Pop and Politics. Boy, oh boy, do we have a show in store for you tonight. I'm KJ. Let me introduce you to my co-host. Of course, we have Shelly E. All right, and then joining us tonight, we have Marquita. She is the VP of Operations at the Black Conservative Federation. All right, we have Joy Vila. All right, you guys know Joy Vila. She's a singer, a actress, and now she has a health care coaching business. Is that right, Joy?
That's right, Joy Villa Fitness.
Yes, perfect. And then back with us after a long hiatus is Yana. Yana is back tonight. You know we had to have our Russian assassin with us tonight to go over all of this Zelensky stuff. So we got a great night in store for you all. And I see already we are almost over 200 people on here. So folks, please hit that like button and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed already, what are you waiting for? Hit the like button. It really helps to amplify our voice here on YouTube. All right, so you guys know we are on YouTube and Rumble. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify under the name Pop and Politics. We love our chat. We shout out all of our super chats, so it's the best way to get your voice heard in the conversation and to show your love for conservative content. This is not just a podcast. This is a movement of God-fearing, truth-seeking, America-loving people that value freedom. Stand with us, subscribe, so we can amplify this rallying call for freedom. All right, ladies, let's set it off. All right, folks, please get those likes up. We have almost now going on 300 people. We want to get those likes up on here. Before we get into it, I want you guys to introduce yourselves. I'll start with you, Marquita. Can you just tell people where they can find you and you know, anything you want the people to know before we get started?
Sure, absolutely. So you can find me on Instagram at Marquita Bushrod. I'm Marquita Cozart Bushrod on Facebook. And I'm also It's Not Anger, It's Passion on TikTok.
All right, excellent.
And also BCF. So, reach out to me via BCF as well.
All right, perfect. And Joy, this is your first time here with us tonight.
I'm so excited.
Yes. All right. And so you have some new things going on right now. Please share with the audience.
Yes, so a lot of people know me from my red carpet appearances. I did the Grammys this year again, wearing a MAGA hat that said the hat stays on. I talked about Jesus on the red carpet. Hollywood Reporter refused to show that. A lot of interviews I did, they didn't show that part. But of course, they love to hear about Trump and they try to bash him. And, there's always that stuff going on. But what I love to do is be in the spotlight, helping shed light to conservative values. I have my music that's out, and I also have Joy Vila Fitness, which has helped hundreds of men and women lose weight, keep it off. It's part of the Maha Initiative with RFK Jr. I'm working with a lot of his people. So if anybody wants the free ebook, they can go to joyvilafitness.com for your listeners only.
Perfect. Oh, wow. Thank you so much. Yeah, we definitely got to link that. And I'm so happy. I'm excited about tonight. So let's get into it. Before we do, I want to acknowledge our super chatters here. All right. So we have here, let's see. I have Kung Fu CJ says, hello, ladies, and welcome back, Yana. All right. Thank you so much, Kung
Thank you. I'm happy to be back. It's always great to see everybody.
Good. Yes, indeed. All right. Yada Royale, same thing. Yana is back. I just asked about you last week, gal. Welcome, Joy. I love you all. We love you too, Yada.
Thank you, Yada.
Yes, indeed. Thank you all so much. And we have linked Joy's fitness, her website there for the ebook. So definitely take advantage of that. I'm definitely going to do that.
It's all from stuck to strong. And so I have fitness, mindset, everything is faith-based. So there's hacks in there, exercises, tons of great stuff, nutrition information.
Okay. I'll be signing up.
Yes, indeed. All right. So let's get into this. So folks, you know, it's been all over the news today during a what was supposed to be a cordial meeting, followed by a lunch and a joint press conference between President Trump and Volodymyr Zelensky. Fireworks erupted when Vice President J.D. Vance urged diplomacy and called Zelensky out for trying to litigate this in front of the American media. That was his quote. And he pointed out that Zelensky is going around forcing conscripts to the front lines because he has manpower problems. So this was a total chaos there today. But before we get into it, because I want to go through just a clip of this exchange. I gotta say, folks, I don't know about you all, ladies, but I sleep better at night knowing that President Trump and Vice President Vance are leading this country. I mean, we got some junkyard dogs out here fighting for America. Do you agree, Shelley?
Absolutely. Look, I know we're going to talk about it more, but you know, the song that came to my mind today when I saw that clip, first of all, I hollered. I was like, oh my gosh. And then the song that came to my mind was, I could just see Michael Jackson in bed. You know, he had on his leather gear and he was on the skates and he was like, you know, come on. Priceless. That's all I could say.
Yeah, absolutely. Joy, I want to get you in on this. What did you think when you saw what happened today? Just first impression.
I loved it because Trump is not messing around. This is his second term. This will be his last term. He's setting the standard. And JD Vance is right there with him. He has that Trump energy where it's like, you know what? You don't have to, you should have apologized or you should have been thankful. But it's almost like he was telling Zelensky, you should apologize. Like, I feel like there was a really good a power play in there where he's telling him, listen, you should back down and know that America's back in power. And Zelensky tried to be like, well, if we'll see when Russia's on your doorstep or something like that. It's just, go home, get out of here, Zelensky. We're not giving you any more money.
Yeah, Yana, did you get a chance to watch it yet?
I did. I mean, that's the first thing I saw this afternoon, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, what is going on? I was feeling all sorts of feelings. One of my feelings was kind of like a secondhand embarrassment for the Ukrainians because Zelensky was behaving outrageously. I could not believe that this is how he behaved in the White House, in the Oval Office. This was outrageous. And so he deserves to be kicked out. And that's what happened to him.
Yeah.
The way that he behaved, the way that he talked, the way that he responded to Trump, that he was talking over him, that he said America is going to feel the threat. He almost basically threatened America. That was outrageous behavior and very unprofessional, very low class. Like it almost looked like someone would the way people fight on the street. Like this was not a conversation to have in the White House.
Yeah. Marquita, what are your first thoughts before we get into this video?
So I have a few, but I'll start with this. Zelensky came in there in what I like to call, as a Black woman, the knuck if you buck outfit. He didn't wear it like us. If we come in, we know we got business to take care of. We're not coming in our heels. We slick our hair back. We got some extra grease on our face, and the earrings are out. He came in there like that because I was like, I'm a test. I want to see what he comes in there wearing. And he did exactly what I thought he would. He was ready to nuck and see the table flip because he nucked and Trump and Vance bucked. And I was here for it.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get into this this clip here. And so full disclosure, it's 11 minutes long, but it's so outrageous that I just wanted to go through just a couple parts on here and get you all to react to this because this is really ridiculous. All right, so let me see here. I'm going to share my screen. All right, there we go. Thank you. All right. And so first, before we get into this, the media really shared this clip. This is 11-minute clip out. But of course, we know the exchange was almost an hour. And prior to this, you guys can let me know if you agree or not. Trump and JD Vance were being so nice. I mean, they were talking about, President Trump was just talking about, I want to get this a ceasefire. I want to get this peaceful. And, Zelensky was very aggressive the entire press conference. He was over talking them. He was giving, you could tell they were starting to get a little agitated because he was getting into details surrounding this agreement that I don't think they really wanted to hash out in front of the press. Mm-hmm. So it was very odd. It was really weird. It was unprofessional. And then it resulted in what we're about to see here. So let's take a look here.
With my friends in Poland, and they are worried that you align yourself too much with Putin. What's your message for them?
Well, if I didn't align myself with both of them, you'd never have a deal. You want me to say really terrible things about Putin and then say, hi, Vladimir, how are we doing on the deal? It doesn't work that way. I'm not aligned with Putin. I'm not aligned with anybody. I'm aligned with the United States of America and for the good of the world.
Yes.
I'm aligned with the world. And I want to get this thing over with. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred. And I understand that, but I can tell you the other side isn't exactly in love with, him either. So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done. You want me to be tough? I could be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be so tough. But you're never going to get a deal that way. So
right.
That's the way it goes. One more question.
Hey, I want to respond to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the president of the United States' words mattered more than the president of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he occupied our parts, big parts of Ukraine, parts of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took.
He's lying.
He killed people. You know what the contact
2015.
2014 and 2014.
2014.
Yeah. So
I was not here.
Yeah, but
That's exactly right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, yeah, the situation the same. The people are been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him.
Because of
that
Ukraine.
So yeah, Yana. So let's talk about this because he said during this exchange, he said that starting in 2014, there was a ceasefire deal between he and Russia, and also in 2019. And he's saying that Russia did not abide by the deal. He also mentioned something about Russia killed some what do you call it? Hostages, and he said that Russia encroached on the land and didn't abide by the ceasefire. So can you provide some response to
He's
that?
spewing the same kind of propaganda that Ukrainians have been spewing since 2014. He is lying completely. He's mentioning Crimea. Is he serious? When Crimea was an autonomous zone for many decades prior to 2014, and they actually had a referendum. There was not a single person hurt. When Crimea became part of Russia, so he's lying right there. Then he's talking about the peace deals that somehow Russia broke, really, when it was Ukraine that kept shelling people in the east of Ukraine. And that is why Russia would not stop whatever they were doing. Yes, they were supporting East Ukrainians, but they continued to support East Ukrainians because Ukraine did not abide by the peace agreements. And European leaders have said that they didn't mean to abide by the peace agreements. It was a sham. It was really just to buy time for Ukraine to build up more weapons so then they can continue to fight the separatists. That's how they're calling people in the east of Ukraine. And so he wants to continue this. It's the same kind of messaging that he has had since 2014.
Okay. I wanted to also talk about JD Vance on this. So when JD Vance jumped in, this reminded me of when I was a young girl. And, I mean, you guys see me now, but back in the day, I was a little scrapper. Okay. I used to get into all types of fights and stuff, and I hung around a crew, and it was almost like, when you're talking to somebody and your crew can see that this other person is really getting aggressive, but you have that one person in your crew where they're always ready. And so this was JD Vance. He jumped in there. He was like, wait a minute. We did diplomacy. You could tell he was upset. He was upset. Shelly, what are your thoughts on that exchange right there?
I love the fact that, number one, JD Vance, he jumped in. But what I loved even more is that Trump let him. So it wasn't that Trump felt like he was trying to take the air out of the room. Trump let him operate, if you will, in his own, strength. And it was not a thumb up or, a nose up to Trump. It was not an embarrassment. And in fact, when JD kept going in, and I think Zelensky started retorting, Trump even backed up JD. Right. So it wasn't even about Trump having, just because he was the leader, it wasn't about him being affronted. He didn't feel that way. He's like, I'm going to let him speak. He said, he's saying the right things. He's in his own strength. It's no affront to me. And I'm going to back him up. And I am ultimately comfortable, if you will, being the leader, but also letting my other leaders operate in their own sphere. I loved it.
Yeah. Joy, what did you think of that exchange there?
I agree with Shelly. I thought they were like a team. They were like the A team. They came in strong. Zelensky was, full of himself. He thought he was going to bully Trump and JD Vance like he bullied Biden, right? He was so used to being comforted and his hand held. And you could tell he came in there and he kind of puffed out his chest and was extremely unprofessional, like you said, KJ. I mean, this guy came in and he thought, if I can just talk it and expose, and he was trying to play to the press. Remember, he's an actor. right? He's an actor. So he's like, well, if I can, get to the press and be the most righteous one in the room. I mean, such liberal nonsense. And Trump and JD cut through the BS like a hot knife through butter and did not let him own that room.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to get you in here on Marquita. Before I do, I want to acknowledge our super chatter here. All right, the car czar with the $20 super chat says intelligent capable panel. Thank you so much. All right, what do you think of that, Marquita? That exchange there?
Listen, I was here for it. And honestly, it's something that I've been waiting to see. I've been really interested in seeing what their dynamic would be in a situation like that. And I was proud to see that they backed each other up. It was like an assist and a layup. Like, come on, it doesn't get any better than that. And it's about time. I was more happy that they were doing it, something that we haven't seen. When was the last time we saw a commander-in-chief putting America first? Like genuinely. And then you have a VP sitting there to back it up. I mean, that was history making right there. I haven't seen it in a while. And I see a lot of Democrats complaining about it. Apparently, they're not used to people putting the mask on America first, but it's about damn time. And we need some more of that.
Absolutely.
I would like to add to that, actually, what Trump said. He said, I'm not anyone's friend. I'm the president of the United States. And this is what I'm here for. And the interesting thing is that several years ago, Putin said the same exact thing about not being anyone's friend. He said, I'm not anyone's friend. I'm not anyone's bride. I'm the president of Russia. And that is why Trump is respected around the world, because the rest of the world sees that he is a real leader who is fighting for his own country.
Yeah. Now, I want to get to this part where Zelensky threatened Trump, because this is when Trump lost his cool. And let's get to this part here. All right. So let's see here.
We had conversations with him, a lot of conversations, my bilateral conversation. And we signed with him, me, like a new president. In 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel, we signed ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. We signed with him gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it.
So is that true, Yana, about that part? Or anyone here that he didn't exchange prisoners?
So the contention that was between Ukraine and Russia was that Ukraine did not abide by the ceasefire. So that is why Russia responded the way that they did, that they did not basically agree to what they did not follow through with the agreement, because Ukrainians continued to kill people in East Ukraine.
Okay. And he said something else. Well, I'll go ahead. Let's continue on here.
What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring it into this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine? Did you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Count once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning. Sure. First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless. God bless. You will not have war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's exactly what you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel.
He crossed the line there.
Absolutely.
He crossed a line. What do you think about that, Joy?
I think it's exactly Trump was so right to put him in his place because he's trying to take over. Well, you'll feel it when Russia, that's a threat. He's like saying, okay, well, yeah, America's going to fall when Russia comes and attacks you. And Trump stopped that demonic spell casting right in its steps. He's like, you have no place in the White House. Like, this is how much Biden has emboldened foreign governments that they can come in, talk smack, and Trump is like, nah, you're going to get smacked. Get out of here. Loved it.
Yeah, Shelley, what did you think? He went too far right there, didn't he?
Oh, he absolutely went too far. Now, you all gonna be upset with me, but I was trying to look at this from a different perspective, okay? I'm thinking part of it is that I don't think Zelensky knows, or maybe he doesn't understand, number one, what the diplomacy really means, at least from an American perspective, particularly when you have America first people in charge, not like the Bidens or the Obamas I'm talking about, not compared to them. So I think that was one thing possibly, okay? I'm not saying that he wasn't wrong, but I think also, I don't understand why they already knew, I think, or they should have known that he was not ready to sign. So I don't know why they paraded him. And I saw Marco Rubio sitting there. State Department is supposed to negotiate all of these things because at this point, but Zelensky should have been ready to sign whatever this part of the deal was, not hash up all of this. This should have been talked. So I don't know if there was some language barrier, maybe political publicity misunderstanding. I was just trying to think of all different things that could have led up to this particular blowout. Ultimately, he was put in his place. It was embarrassing, I think, just from a human perspective, for anybody. I think it would have been embarrassing to have this happen like this on live TV, for all the world to see. So again, it's not a matter of taking up for Zelensky. I'm just trying to be as objective as possible, but I will admit my bias. I'm glad that Trump and J.D. Vance stood the ground for America first.
Well, okay, so when I saw this whole hour-long clip, the whole time I'm thinking to myself, this man needs to humble himself. Mm-hmm. His bravado and the way that he came in posturing during this whole exchange was so out of line. It was so out of line.
Sorry.
Go ahead. Yeah,
it's because he's been emboldened by European leaders. So he had a meeting with European leaders recently when Trump and Putin, and Russian delegation were meeting in Saudi Arabia. Then the European leaders were meeting with Zelensky. And so I'm pretty sure they have emboldened him to say, to stay strong and to stick to his, the same messaging that he has had. And they instructed him to behave the way that he behaved today. I'm pretty sure that's what otherwise he would have not behaved this way. You're thinks right. That he has backing of the EU. And the news have said that they all supported him after this exchange today.
They did. Within an hour, European leaders began echoing the same exact message in a coordinated response to today's meltdown, according to the Gateway Pundit, from Ukraine president in the Oval Office, Ursula von der Leyen, president of the EU Commission, and Valdis Dombrovskis, EU Commission, Roberta Metsola, president of the EU Parliament, Antonio Costa, president of the European Council. Many of these, they're saying your dignity honors the bravery of the Ukrainian people. One said, be strong, be brave, be fearless. You are never alone, dear President Zelensky. So they were coming in. Antonio Costa, he was the one who said your dignity honors.
He looked pretty alone there, okay? European leaders, you threw him there and he looked miserable. He looked alone. I feel I support Russia in this conflict, but I feel sorry for Zelensky. I'm sorry that this is happening to him. He was a good actor. He was funny, and they destroyed a good actor that everybody liked. Everybody liked watching him as an actor. He should have stayed an actor.
I have to say too, yes, the European Union bullies a lot of tries to bully America for sure. But I also think that Biden helped embolden Zelensky because we all know Biden caved. Biden gave more and more money. So, and that's exactly what would have happened had that administration stayed in office. So I do think also they're emboldened. We forget how bad it is. I mean, that's why people are like, oh, you know, it's only 4 years. So 4 years, you can do a lot of damage, especially to foreign governments. If they think they can walk all over America, they start getting really emboldened. It's like a bratty kid, you know, they think they can talk back to mommy and daddy. They'll keep plotting and trying to do it. But as soon as you say, no, 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 your dad said no, well, I say no too. That was JD Vance and Trump. Mommy and daddy both said no, go to your room.
Yeah, absolutely. Before I get you in here, Marquita, I want to acknowledge our super chatters. Thank you all so much. Let's see here. We have, all right, Laura with the $5 super chat says, Trump said, I am not signing no deal. Thank God. Yes, thank God. All right, Captain Caveman says, Zelensky came for a bag, not for peace. Yeah, he said that. He said it. Laura says, go JD Vance. Yep. Yes, he did. Yes, thank you. PB Hardy with the $5 super chat says, kudos to President Trump, VP Vance, and Secretary of State Rubio. Real men standing up for the Americans and the Ukrainian people also. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Yes, Mud Chat with the $20 super chat. Thank you, Mud Chat. Thank you. All right. Kung Fu CJ says, this is when Trump went Nino Brown on him. He did. Yep. He sure did. He did. Fuzzy Balls with the $10 super chat says, Russia controls 87 trillion of rare earth minerals and metals. Why waste our time with Ukraine, who has like 1% of that? Europe is economically self-destructing, which benefits America. All right. Yeah. All right, MT with the $5 super chat says, I agree with 90% of this, but Yana is leaving out a lot of context. I recommend everyone do their own research. Supporters of both sides stay lying. Oh, okay.
Or maybe stop lying, maybe. Oh, I don't know. Okay.
Yeah. He's saying they both people are lying on both sides. VPOF Hype with the $10 super chat says, have you all noticed the number of people who previously thought he was not for them? Absolutely loving how he is fighting for us and where our money goes. That's a good one there, because he said that a lot of times in this exchange, the whole hour-long exchange. He said, I am fighting for the American people. I do not want to waste the American people's money. And I thought that was very good. That was what President Trump said. He wants this peacefully done. He wants to get it ceasefire. Kung Fu CJ says Zelensky thought he was Reagan. Yeah, I guess so.
Well, I just want to comment because my name was mentioned. So yes, of course, do your own research. Absolutely. I never say do not do your own research. So, and you know, in any conflict, I studied conflict analysis and resolution in college. I wanted to be a diplomat or something. But in any conflict, you have to study both sides. You have to understand where each side is coming from, and then you make a decision and you decide how to solve this conflict if you want to be a mediator. So, and the position of Europe has been recently that we shouldn't even be talking to Russia. We shouldn't even be understanding where Russia is coming from. How you're supposed to solve any conflict if you're not going to look at both sides? So of course, look at both sides and talk to people on you know, who have perspectives from different sides.
Yeah. All right. We just want to continue just for a little bit more on this video here. Let's see.
Feel very good.
Feel influenced.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
Feel influenced.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. Right now, you don't. You're playing cards. You're playing cards. You're gambling with the lives of millions of people.
So this is what I found very disrespectful. So throughout this conversation, Zelensky is cutting off President Trump and J.D. Vance. He didn't let either of them finish their thoughts. Did you all notice that? Did you notice that, Marquita?
Yes, I did. And I feel like he had so much pent up anger. And again, to Shelley's point earlier, I don't know what happened in that 30-minute meeting they had beforehand, but something happened. And he, instead of addressing it in that meeting, he sat on it and waited for those cameras to start rolling. Honestly, and it made him look crazy. You know, when you come in there, and maybe he was so emboldened again by what he was able to do during the Biden era, but baby, that's over. He came in there expecting to get a check, and man, he was swiftly given a reality check. And he needs to be humble. He needs to be humble. He should be coming in there at this point, trying to salvage whatever he has left. And I'm not sure. Honestly, I don't know if that can happen. I mean, when you piss off, you know, one of your biggest advocates, Lindsey Graham, I have to sit back and say, wow, man, you done did it. So how you come back from that?
Yeah, I totally agree. What do you think of that exchange, Joy?
Absolutely. What Marquita said, it was insane. I mean, he's cutting him off. He's being belligerent. He acted like he was drunk. He's not even dressed like he's meeting the president. I mean, can you imagine if Trump did that? I mean, first of all, Trump can't even sneeze. And then people would be like, oh, that was a racist sneeze. You know what I mean? It's just, he should be ashamed of himself. He really did a disservice to the Ukrainian people, to Ukraine. And I think that what happened in that meeting before is that he asked for more money and Trump said no. And so he's petulant. He's a petulant child in front of the media. In it's not Trump's White House, it's our White House. We're the American people. You stomp on our president, you're stomping on us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to acknowledge our 2 super chatters here, folks. Thank you all so much. All right, let's see here. We have, let's see. Oh, Laura with the $5 super chat. Trump was really being patient, but when he couldn't hold in, he let him have it. Absolutely. Thank you, Laura. All right. Kung Fu CJ says Jackie Mack is right. He wants American soldiers. Yeah. And folks, we have over 1,000 people watching tonight. Thank you all so much. Please hit that like button. It really helps to amplify our voice here on YouTube. And we want to definitely get the conservative voice out there. All right. Fuzzy Ball says, once Kamala, let me see here. Once Kamala Kamala Tove Harris invited Ukraine into NATO, Russia had no choice. What would America do if Mexico invited China and Russia to build military bases on their northern border? We'd do 1,000 times worse. All right. Yeah. And so Zelensky actually went on Fox News right after the interview. And they were asking him to apologize, and he refused. Take a look here. I have it here. All right. Let's see.
In the Oval Office. Do you think you did, and do you think you owe an apology to President Trump?
Thank you so much. First of all, thank you for the invitation for this dialogue, and good evening to all your country, to all Americans. I'm very thankful to Americans for all your support. You did a lot. I'm thankful to President Trump and to Congress bipartisan support. And I was always very thankful from all our people. You helped us a lot from the very beginning during 3 years of full-scale invasion. You helped us to survive. Anyway, we are strategic partners. And even in such tough dialogue, and I think we have to be very honest. And we have to be very direct to understand each other, because it's for us very necessary to President Trump. And I'm with all respect that he wants to finish this war, but nobody wants to finish more than we, because we in Ukraine, we are in this war, we are in this battle, and battle for freedom for our lives. So I'm just telling that I think that we have to be on the same side. And I hope that the president on our side together with us, and that is very important for Putin. And I heard from President Trump a lot of times that he will stop the war, and I hope he will. And we need to pressure him with Europe, with all the partners. And I think this dialogue has.
So, no apology there. Yana, do you think he owed President Trump an apology?
I mean, if he cares about his country and his people, he needs to be diplomatic. He needs to be behaving like a president, but I don't know if he knows how to behave that way. I mean, he was a comedian. So, and if you make a comedian, and he wasn't even like a serious actor, he was a good comedian. So he has a good sense of humor, but right now it's not funny. Like whatever he is doing, it's not funny to anyone. And he doesn't care about people's lives. What he means by winning the war, he wants all those lands that are now under Russian control. But they're under Russian control because people in those lands want Russia there. So what he wants, if he wants soldiers and ammunition go into those lands and kill people. He wants to annihilate people that live there because all he wants are those lands. And those lands have a lot of those rare minerals that are now under Russian control. And I have heard on Ukrainian TV when they would interview people in Ukraine, what should we do with the people that live there? They're saying they can all die.
Oh.
People in West Ukraine, people who back Zelensky, they do not care about human beings there, and he doesn't care.
All right.
It's genocidal. Like it's unfortunate to say that.
Yeah, and you said that he is a comedian. I have a video here of him with doing his work prior to becoming the president of Ukraine. Take a look here. So he was some type of belly dancer.
No, you need to show the video where he is literally dancing in high heels in that music video.
There's a lot. There's a lot of him performing. He's a good performer. One of his
performing.
Yes, he is, but he's being terrible at it.
Yeah, and he think he's in over his head. He's completely in over his head. He's a puppet. Obviously, he went to a casting call like AOC, right? They pick these people. They're like, you're going to be our mouthpiece. We'll feed you the lines. It's in your ear. Go for it. And then when they're faced with an actual real president, a real leader who calls them on his crap, they cannot do it. They crumble. So that's what we were watching. It's like he was malfunctioning because he is an actor. He's a comedian. He is an entertainer. And yeah, he's a president of Ukraine. But just because you have the title doesn't mean you're a good leader. If he really, truly wanted to have the right negotiations with us, he would have been humble. He would have said, I'm so sorry. I trust President Trump. Thank you to the American people. I mean, we bailed them out. We've given them billions of dollars. Can you imagine if you gave away hundreds of thousands of dollars to a friend, the equivalent to a next door neighbor, to help them because they couldn't pay their bills, and then they come into your house and you invite them for tea and they ask you for more money and you say no, and they start freaking disrespecting you in front of your entire family? That's what they did. That's what he did. That's what Ukraine has done.
Yeah. Shelley, do you think that he should have apologized?
I think he should have apologized. I watched or listened to that whole interview with Brett Baer and Zelensky after the debacle press briefing. And I have to say, I think he should have apologized. Again, there was even some talk again about it could have been possibly some language barriers, some diplomatic points that maybe he didn't understand. But Brett Baer, in the interview with Brett Baer, at least for, I would say, much of it, he sounds like Zelensky, that is, sounds like he's at least starting to realize that he made a big, big blunder, right? I mean, he sounds a little bit to a degree, some contrition, and I think he's hopeful that President Trump will revisit it. Now, I think President Trump will. Ultimately, why? Number one, he's for America first, number one. And number two, he wants peace. He wants to see innocent people not being killed on both sides. Whether or not you support Russia or Ukraine, President Trump wants the fighting to stop, and he wants to get these deals signed, if you will, so that people's lives are not needlessly lost for these two countries going back and forth for whatever side you might fall on. So I do think President Trump will come back to the table, and I think Zelensky will, I guess I would, if you want to call it force, coerce, but I think he will have some time to have to rethink his options, which are pretty much at zero.
Well, the State Department, apparently after this meeting, the State Department terminated a U.S. Agency for International Development initiative that has invested hundreds of millions of dollars to help restore Ukraine's energy grid from attacks by the Russian military, according to two USAID officials. So power outages have been applied overnight in some regions of Ukraine due to the attacks on energy facilities. The country's systems have sustained near constant impact throughout the course of the 3-year war. So I guess I don't know if this was some retaliation due to this press conference, but the Trump administration cut the emergency grid. So.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I saw that report as well, saying that it was Marco Rubio that terminated this grid restoration project, and Ukraine has to feel the consequences. They have not felt any. I mean, they have been so supported up until now, and they just want the same kind of support, but things have changed. We can't keep on fighting. So they have to feel the pain right now.
Yeah. So we will see that we will see there. Folks, thank you all so much for your super chats and all and your comments here. You guys know we also have Metro Conservative Media. So you can go to, we are Metro Conservative Media. This is just one of the platforms or the shows on the Metro Conservative Media platform. We also have Just the Guys, which will be on tomorrow night. That is our brother station here on YouTube. We also have the All American Talk Show. They are here on YouTube as well, conservative content. And then we have Christian Conservative with KJ and CJ. That's my other show here on YouTube. So you all can do this, right? We're all on the Metro Conservative Media Network. If you are an aspiring YouTuber, or you are someone who wants to, you have a voice and you want to get your voice out there on YouTube or on the airwaves, let us know. This is what we do here. We help get conservative content creators out on the YouTube or streaming networks. So you can go to metroconservativemedia.com, and there you can fill out the form, and we'll get in contact with you to see what kind of show you'd like to get started. All right. So I'm going to change gears a little bit here, and I want to talk. I saw a super chat asking something about DOGE. I thought it was. Did we hit that one yet? I think it was Brown Eyes. I thought I saw. Let me see here. There she is, Brown Eyes with the $5 super chat. Says, this is off topic. Next week, could you ladies research and discuss the Medicaid votes and concerns? Okay, we touched on it a little bit on Wednesday night. But I think she's asking about the budget bill that just passed, and mainstream media is saying that the Republicans are going to cut Medicaid and Medicare as part of the, I think it was $800 billion or $800 million in cuts. Now, President Trump has come out and said that there will not be any cuts to Medicare or Medicaid. However, he said that if there are people who are not, they may change the work requirements for Medicaid, or if there's some type of fraud being done, that was going to be dealt with. But he did say that there weren't going to be any cuts. You ladies have any comments on that before we move forward?
No, I mean, basically the cuts, if you will, was again looking for the fraud, waste, and abuse, and right now it's projected at least up to $800 billion, if you will, or maybe I think that's the right number. But so that's where, but the actual benefits themselves or to the program, there were not going to be any cuts and or major changes. That's how I understood it as well.
Right.
Although, my personal opinion and my never to be humble opinion is that I think they should be cut as well. And when I say cut, I mean, fine, it's particularly for Social Security or you've already paid into it. I want them to cut me a check and give me my money back.
Okay. Yeah, and I encourage everyone. Elon Musk was on Joe Rogan today. And apparently he dropped some bombshell information about additional fraud and waste that they have uncovered. I have not watched the full show yet, but I did see little clips of it. And so, I mean, this is what they've been uncovering now for the last several weeks. And speaking of Elon, so the proposal for DOGE dividends is actually coming up. So again, remember when Elon Musk mentioned about a distribution of 20% of government savings to taxpayers. And so apparently they are about to push this bill forward. So let me see here. According to the New York Post, under Flashback's proposal, Fishback's, I guess Congressman Fishback's proposal, households that are net taxpayers, those who pay into the government more than they receive in benefits, would receive 20% of all DOGE's savings. Another 20% will go to paying down the national debt, and the other 60% would likely be allocated to the budget each year. So according to the math, that would mean roughly 79 million households would get a $5,000 check. So they are trying to put this bill forward in Congress. What did you think about this, Marquita?
So I'm a little bit torn. I don't think it's a bad idea. I feel like a lot of Americans are going to say, yeah, great, send me a check. Me personally, I look at this as a moment in time. When has the government ever gone in and had someone have a DOGE and do research into the government and earn billions of dollars? For me, I'm like, pay off the debt. Like, if you really want to send me a check, okay, I'll take it. But I would rather the next administration, whoever comes in next, the likelihood of something like this ever happening again, where we can actually reduce our deficit some, I don't see when that's going to happen again. So, I don't need the check, but if it comes, great, but put it toward the deficit.
Okay.
The only thing I would say about Marquita, I agree. I mean, I want the debt paid, but the premise behind the debt, number one, that I think some people are not at least fathoming is that it's our money to begin with. So it's not so much of them giving us anything. You're giving back what is really owed to us anyway, what is really rightfully ours to start with. So we should not have even had this much debt. I know that's going backwards, but the premise starts with, it's not a matter of the government giving us anything. It's our money, period.
No, I agree with that. I do agree with that. If you were talking about more than $5,000, maybe I'd be more on board. But 5,000, I mean, that's a drop in the bucket. Like, if you add, a couple of zeros, now we could talk. Now give me my money. But for
I want the 5,000. I want the 20,000. I want the whatever I paid in Social Security all the years. I want every check and however many zeros everyone has. As long as they take them to the bank and they cash, I want them.
All right. All right. What are your thoughts on this, Joy?
I agree with Marquita. I think that, it's our money, but it's going to cause a huge slump in the economy, just like the pandemic stimulus checks did during the pandemic. It can push inflation higher. I mean, listen, they're just printing money at this point. So that's why I invest in crypto. I invest in other things. This is not financial advice, but I don't believe in the government giving me money. They're never going to give us our money back. We paid into a system. We're American citizens. Unfortunately, we're paying into a very corrupt citizen. No other country treats its citizens like we do. And I love America with all my heart. But the main thing we need to do is abolish the IRS, get the infrastructure detonated. I love what DOGE is doing, but I'm not expecting a check. Most Americans won't get a check. And I would rather it go off to pay off the deficit or build roads. Like let's put this in, or let's build some, infrastructure in the city. Let's fix some power grids. Let's do some things to help America run better, because I like the $5,000. I mean, that sounds great, but I don't want the government trying to buy me off again like they did.
I'm going to retort with Joy a little bit too, KJ. Sorry, Joy. I love you. I'm going to retort with you.
Go for it.
The thing is that what we are, quote unquote, what we would be getting back. Again, I don't know if it's going to happen, but what we would be getting back is the fraud, the waste and abuse, and the excess. So we have enough money to do those things, the infrastructure. All the potholes in America could be fixed, right? We have enough money that's collected to do whatever the basic government services that are necessary. That's fine. What we would be, again, quote unquote, getting back is the excess, the money that's going to fraud, the money that's going to all of these pet projects and kickbacks. I don't have a problem with paying taxes, if you will, for the basics that we need, but we're not getting any return on our investment for the most part.
No, but that's it. That's America. It's like, unfortunately, this is how they've been run, right? We have super high taxes. We have a government that seeps into our personal business, that makes enemies of its own citizens. The police are supposed to work for us, but we're scared. I mean, it's messed up. Trump didn't do this. Conservatives didn't do this. This is an infrastructure that's been happening since the creation of America. I love America, but let's not be like sunshine and roses. It's messed up. We have trillions of dollars in debt. Our infrastructure is messed up. People come in to change it and then get corrupted. They're making millions while working in office. You shouldn't be paid if you work in office. Like Trump is not taking a check. Nobody who works in office should be getting a check. You are a civil servant. Your payment is helping make America better. That's how it's supposed to be. So I think this money, the excess, I think this is, to me, I think it's like glass half too full. I don't think there is any excess. I think it's never going to happen. I love this idea, but I would rather I love the tariffs on China, and I would rather him abolish the IRS. Take the $5,000 and abolish the freaking IRS. They are criminals.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So yeah, we will continue to follow this story. This is what we do on here. It's important to raise up voices like ours, like Joy's channel, all of our voices. It's important to raise up these independent voices, because the media, the mainstream media, is going to continue to lie and do propaganda for the left, for the Democrats, because we know they've been taken over by Marxists. And so this is why, you guys, it's important to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already, because it does amplify our voice. Look what just happened this week. Joy, what's her last name? Reed. No, not Joy Reed. No, yes. Reed. Joy Reid is gone. This is a huge thing. Yeah, her show is off the air. Now I'm sure she'll, she's still on YouTube and things like that. But people like her and Don Lemon, they don't need to be on mainstream media like they are. So we have to continue to, uplift each one another, independent voices like this. And take a look at this video. This is why we do what we do. It's time for Pop and Politics. It appears that time period following slavery and Jim Crow were not as harmful to the Black community as the legacy of liberalism and the welfare state.
Because you have this candidate that checks all these boxes. Well, she's Black-ish, check the box. She's female, check the box. She's from California, check the box. And she's not Joe Biden. Right. Most importantly, check the box. We ought to win. Somebody roll out Beyonce.
You lie, you steal, you cheat, you cause fear, you cause all kinds of chaos, and now you want us to somehow take your sob stories as if you're on our side.
We are seeing,
how Marxism, how communism have infiltrated many of our institutions. And one of the main institutions that have been infiltrated is the church.
Welcome to Christian Conservative.
The Christian agenda is good for everybody.
President Trump, he's embracing God's design for the identity of man that you would think Christians would be happy about and hold on to, but they're not, especially Black Christians.
That's a very scary place to be. If you deny me in front of people, Jesus said, I would deny you in front of my Father.
This was political. They wanted to make an example out of you.
God forbid I had kissed the ring. I would have kissed the ring and still got sentenced that same way.
I said, Lord, you put him in because your sister was in jail.
Welcome back to the All American Talk Show.
We are talking about OnlyFans, otherwise known as Lonely Fans.
And 4.1 million creators, 84% are female. They earn an average of $180 per month.
Bill's gonna go meet someone in an alley by a dumpster, and KJ and I are gonna keep talking for a little bit.
Oh my gosh, I had a bad dream, Giovanni. It's like I had to watch multiple minutes of The View.
As Maryland literally tried to take the word parent out of health education.
I don't care about the public schools, and I don't care about the teachers there. What I care about are that the students who go there get the education they need to become productive adults.
Just the Guys Podcast.
They all look the same. He's a real pretty boy, asking the questions real softly and nodding his head. Yes, mama. Yes, mama.
Madam President, these gentlemen do not believe that you are intelligent. I beg to differ.
I was the first vice president or president to ever in office go to a reproductive health care clinic.
Her strategy to win Black votes was putting a twerking rapper on stage, saying that she cooked collard greens in the bathtub.
And you see a lot of Black men typically vote in the way of the cooch.
When you take government out of it, things go back to where they're supposed to go. All of these things that the guy should have done to protect himself, why don't we just say keep your legs closed?
80% of the world walking out there is hedonistic degenerates who believe freedom is defined by how hedonistic and degenerate you express yourself.
You better thank a union member.
All right, folks. So changing gears a little bit and want to talk about Zaya Wade. So Zaya Wade is the child of Dwayne Wade, his NBA basketball player Dwayne Wade, and is now on the cover of 17 magazine. So basically, this Zaya is a trans woman or trans girl. I think Zaya just turned 17. I think she might even be 16. And they are just continuing to push out this person all over media. Believe Zaya is a model. So that he's doing runway and all this type of stuff. And now on the cover of 17 magazine. Again, Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union have been on every talk show they can, really pushing this child out and the whole talking about the trans movement. What do you guys think about this? I mean, this is very unsettling. I'll start with you, Marquita. What are your thoughts on them doing this to Zaya?
Listen, I do believe it was there about January 20th where Trump made it very clear that there were two genders and trans is not one of them. I am tired of seeing them parade Zaya or whatever the name originally was around. I'm over it. Why are we still doing this? The American people have made it very clear that they're not interested in this. Stop pushing the agenda. 17 magazine, who the hell is still buying and reading 17 magazine? That was out when I was in high school. I didn't even know there were still subscriptions. It's trash. And if they're still pushing out this trash to young underdeveloped minds, I have massive issue with that.
Yeah. Joy, I saw you snapping your fingers.
Oh my gosh, I have a lot to say. So the 17 magazine, for those who don't know, is a girls magazine for girls who are average 13 years old to 17, right? It's the preteen, teen, underage category. I used to read 17. My mom read 17. All of us grew up watching, 17 magazine, makeup tips, dressing, all these things. This is disgusting. They put a boy on the cover. That is a boy. That is not a girl. That is an underage child that Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union transitioned underage, right? This is child abuse. This is grooming. This is disgusting. This is a boy. And he's been giving all these opportunities because he simply decided, I don't want to be a boy anymore. He couldn't make it as a boy. His parents couldn't promote him as a boy. Whatever something happened, they jumped on that train. And I want to know, as somebody who's in Hollywood, somebody who's an artist, who's a filmmaker, a musician, why are there so many trans kids of celebrities? Why is every trans kid born to a celebrity? Why is it suddenly you get an Instagram and celebrity rich parents and you're a multimillionaire? It seems like transgenderism. Somebody should do a study on this. Is this a disease that affects the rich and the famous? Because I don't really know a lot of trans people in my own sphere of influence, but somehow they keep ending up on every magazine, the best friend in every show, the love interest in many of these shows where they're putting in this agenda. It's satanic. It's disgusting. It's grooming for child sex abuse. And I'm tired of it. And this should not be celebrated.
Yeah, I second you there. What about you, Yana?
Yes, this is a boy who is underage and has been transitioned earlier when he really couldn't make his own decisions. So he's completely controlled by his outside surroundings. And of course, because he's getting this attention, he's going to go along with it for now. But what's going to happen in the future with this boy? Who knows? And it is horrible that young people are still bombarded with this messaging. It's very, very dangerous, and it's infuriating because young people do not understand the repercussions of something like this. Changing your body, taking hormones, doing any kind of surgery. They don't understand how much they will regret all these actions later in life. It's awful.
Yeah. Shelly, it seems like, magazines like 17, like movies, get, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with The Summer I Turned Pretty. It was a book, and then they made it into a movie. Really good book. It was kind of geared towards young people. And the movie was the same, but in the book, they didn't have any trans characters. But of course, when they made the movie, they have to make that, like you mentioned, Joy, the best friend was trans. The boy who was the major character in the movie was now bisexual. And to be honest, and this is what I don't like, it didn't even fit. You could tell, and I hadn't even read the book, but as I was watching the series and I saw that, I was like, this just doesn't make sense. And then when I researched it, they said this was not even in the book. So they're going out of their way to push this agenda. Shelly, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, a couple of things. Number one, I agree. I was going to say the same thing, Joy. First of all, he's a boy. This is a boy. Number one. Number two, you can cut off all the... I was trying to be nice for Joy tonight, but I was going to say you can cut off all the dicks. I'm sorry, Joy. You can cut off all the vaginas. You can pump them up with whatever. You will still have XX or XY chromosomes. That's number one. Number two, to Marquita's point, way before President Trump signed that bill, and I say two sexes, not genders, two sexes, there was someone we call God who said it was male and female, okay? Way before, since the beginning of time. So Trump just kind of co-signed, if you will, back in January, a month ago. Joy, to your point again, I think number one, this is a social contagion, and I think a lot of these celebrities are living these played out celebrities. They've had their time on the screen and on the stage, and now many of them, I think, in my never to be humble opinion, are living somehow vicariously on this popular trans train, if you will, and they are literally pimping out their children for the celebrity, for the popularity, for all the glitz and glamour that this new trans movement now brings. Ultimately, again, I think these parents should be hemmed up because these children are minors. And number two, we're going to have a huge, talking about bills to pay, we're going to have a huge mental health bill to pay that's coming in due time, because these children are literally being twisted, not just their body parts, but their mind as well.
Yeah. It's really sad, and it's sick, and it's a cult, as you've said time and time again, Shelley. This is a cult. This has become a religion for the left, and they believe that this is what they need to do, and they're using these children. They are using these children to do their bidding. It's sad. It's really sad.
And it's always some new kid. It's like they need to keep updating, because before it was Jazz. Remember Jazz Jennings? And when I was younger, it was whole reality show about Jazz, and now you see what happened to Jazz. I mean, it was a boy. It's a boy who became now extremely overweight, has all sorts of, because of hormones, obviously, all sorts of issues with the genitals, because they were not developed, and then they did the surgery, and they said they didn't even have enough tissue for the surgery. It's awful. And so now Jazz is kind of out of the picture because he doesn't look good right now. And so now it's the new kid who right now looks attractive for the movement. It's like they're sacrificing these kids.
Yeah. And my heart really goes out to these boys that go through the entire transition with removing their penises, and same for the girls, but particularly for the boys. I have a friend that works in healthcare, and she has told me countless times of how she's seen people who these trans boys trans girls that come in, and it's a trans boy, whatever it is, they've made a penis. I'm sorry. Right. They've made a penis, and or they've made a vagina, even the ones who have made a vagina, and it's just a mess. It's like a real Frankenstein project. And I'm sure as we can progress with this stuff, these doctors are going to get better, and I guess they're going to continue to tweak it. But right now, these people are walking out like a missing puzzle pieces.
Absolutely. Can I share some stuff about trans real quick?
Yes.
So it's the most, everybody's right on the money here. So lifetime suicide attempts in the United States, over 40% of transgender adults have attempted suicide at least once. And among youth, this is a recent study, a 2024 study found that 53%, more than half, of transgender youth have seriously considered suicide in the past year. And of course, the left will tell you it's because we don't have enough transgender affirming care. We just have to affirm them and affirm them and affirm them. This is grooming. They are putting these children on a chopping block, literally. And just Shelley was preaching. I agree with everything you said. They're chopping off their genitals. They're rebuilding these Frankenstein's monsters, like you said, KJ. And this is awful. I mean, this is satanic. This is child sacrifice. Whoever thought we would be here, right?
Exactly.
From, let's just let gay people get married. And there's no gay agenda. Boom, fast forward 15 years. There's a huge agenda. And we're not talking about adults. We're talking about children. Adults, do what you want. Change up your body parts. I don't care. I'm not going to call you a ma'am if you look like a dude. I don't care. But if you're a child, this is illegal. This is terrible. Their parents should be prosecuted. These children, their minds aren't fully formed. Why are we saying, oh, when a 50-year-old man dates a 24-year-old woman or a 19-year-old woman, that's so gross because her mind hasn't formed. But if she wants to be turned into a man at 9 years old, we need to affirm her. Well, what if a 9-year-old wants to be a dinosaur, a toy truck? Like, you can't ask kids what gender they want to be, what sex they want to be, whatever they want to change this terminology. We trust the science, except for when it comes to transgender. Like, the science is you were born in this gender. This is sickness. This is the devil incarnate infiltrating families. And the fact that Black families are now, Black celebrity families are now saying this is okay. Let me parade my masculine young boy who should follow in his father's footsteps and do sports or do whatever he wants to do. You can be a fashion designer and be a boy. Why do we say to now be a model, to be on the cover of a magazine, you have to transition to be a girl? This is disgusting. It's satanic. I truly believe it's satanic. It's the only thing that makes sense.
It is. And don't forget, we have just coming up recently, these transgender cult people are committing murders. Right here in Maryland, they found the leader of this trans cult that had gone about killing people. So, and we know they still haven't provided the information that on this trans person that unalived those people in Tennessee. So, and they, when they do come out with these people, they don't give us all the details surrounding it. So they're really they need mental help. That's what it is. But instead of getting that, this society and these new age doctors have legitimized these people, and it's just making it worse. It's just making it worse. I do want to acknowledge our super chatters here, folks. Thank you all so much. All right, let's see here. We have Laura says ceasefire. All right, Laura. Yeah, absolutely. Kung Fu CJ with the $10 super chat says there are millions of people receiving checks. There are people ages from 110 to 140 years old getting benefits. I read that too, Kung Fu CJ. Thank you so much. Folks, you guys, we're not supposed to be paying any money today. Remember the DEI boycott? Who's participating in the DEI boycott? What a joke.
This one is in Russian.
Yeah, Yana, what's that?
What does it say, Yana?
It says "Познай себя и победи." It means discover yourself and win. So basically, I don't know why this person wrote it here. What was the relation to what we were saying? I guess, but it's maybe it's advice. If you discover yourself, if you know yourself, you can win. That's how I understand.
Nice. Thank you, hard member. Yes. All right. We also have Kung Fu CJ. Oh, we got that one. We did do that one. Okay. Chris, thank you so much for your super chat. Chris Rowden. Chris. Fuzzy Balls. Zelensky left his walnuts at the White House. Yeah. Okay. All right, Fuzzy Balls. Kung Fu CJ says, wait till he gets 6'3" and his body starts to reverse and reject the meds they have him on. He has a girlfriend also, probably a boyfriend. Because they go in the reverse, So, oh my gosh. Fuzzy Ball says in Finland, you can't have gender reassignment surgery until you're 25, and only if you have seen a psychiatrist for at least 18 months to be sure that you actually suffer from gender dysphoria. That's a good idea. That's a wonderful idea. I love that. Brown Eyes says, Joy, I saw you on independent channels wearing your MAGA hat and standing your ground. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, Brown Eyes.
All right. Kung Fu CJ says, Satan's plan was to kill the seed of the woman. This is what this is. Oh, yeah. Right on, Kung Fu CJ. Yep. All right. Chadwick says, there Shelly is. She's been staying so reserved. Thank you, Chadwick. All right, we got this one last topic for tonight, folks. And this is sort of on the lines of what Brown Eyes was talking about the new government regulations surrounding Medicaid, Medicare, SNAP, and things like that. Take a look at this clip. This is clip 1.
Because Trump is essentially saying that he wants to limit the type of purchases people can make with their food stamps. I need y'all to hear me loud and clear. What somebody does with their food stamps is their business. I don't care if they go to the store with $100 of food stamps and buy nothing but fruit roll-ups and milk.
See, that's the same mentality that y'all apply to child support. No, 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 no. This isn't for you to be able to just do whatever you want with your food stamps. Because folks is out here working their ass off to pay taxes, and they're taking those taxes and giving you food stamps. And there's people out here that'll take their food stamps and sell them to go buy drugs. It's some people out here that'll get their food stamps and just give them away to somebody else. Like, it's a bunch of different things out here, bro. People be selling their food stamps for bullshit, trading their food stamps for DVDs and shit like that, having motherfuckers babysit for food stamps. Like, no, that's exactly why folks need to disclose what they using this shit for, or certain purchases should not be allowed. Certain things should not be allowed. And then that was so dumb of you to say, if somebody wants to go and buy all fruit roll-ups and milk, then so be it. No, absolutely not. We didn't give you this money or these food stamps to patch up a problem so you can create another one. Because
all right. So I want to get you ladies' thoughts on this. So it is correct. There is talks. The Trump administration is in talks to push a ban on sugary drinks, candy, and more from the U.S. program that helps low-income families pay for nutritious food. Has been tried before, but it may soon get a boost from the new Trump administration. RFK Jr., the newly confirmed Health and Human Services Secretary, and Brooke Rollins, the new Agricultural Secretary, have both signaled that they favor stripping such treats from SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. So, of course, RFK has been very vocal about this, saying government to stop allowing the nearly $113 billion program that serves about 42 million Americans to use benefits to pay for soda and processed foods. So, Joy, I want to get your thoughts on this first. You are, a health professional. What do you think about this?
I love it. I think absolutely you shouldn't be able to buy things that are toxic. I mean, you can't buy cigarettes on food stamps. You can't buy alcohol on food stamps. Why should you be able to buy entertainment food, which is all sugar is, candy, fruit roll-ups, all of this crap, this toxic stuff, which, yeah, if you really want to put that in your body, great. Get a job, make some money, save it, and then buy your crap and put it in your body. For the rest of us, I don't want to pay for people who are generations and generations having kids so they can stay on food stamps to now then give themselves diseases where I have to pay into a medical system that's going to make their kids sicker, themselves sicker. And then also, okay, that's the practical standpoint. Now, from a compassionate standpoint, I don't want anybody putting this crap in their body. When you do the research, sodas, candies, all these dyes are poison. There's a reason why once you get healthy, spend some time outside touching grass, exercising a little bit, moving, eating wholesome foods, this fuzziness goes away. And I think a lot of these people would grow their hair out, stop dyeing it blue, stop being fat, unhappy feminists if they actually ate healthy and stop eating this dye. I think it's actually going into their brain. Like, seriously, they're getting toxic. And that's from every ethnicity, every group. They're eating crap food. They're spewing crap. They're watching crap on TV. So great. Let's absolutely implement that you can't buy crap on food stamps, just whole, delicious food. In fact, let's also lower the cost of groceries while we're at it so we can all buy that food. That's my take.
Yeah, perfect. Shelley, what are your thoughts here? I'm interested to see what you have to say.
Well, I would say this. Overall, I think the SNAP program, as I do with most, if not all government programs, needs to be cut. I'm just saying, in half at least. Okay. I know some people can say, oh, you want to see people starving. You don't want to feed the babies, whatever. No, I want parents to be able to feed their children and themselves. And I want parents to make those decisions. I'm with Joy. I don't want to pay for toxic foods or junk and trash or whatever you're putting in your body. I certainly just don't want to pay for it. When I go to the grocery store, I talked to Katie about this. One of the things that just drives me, it's like nails on a chalkboard, is when I see what I can see as relatively healthy people pull out an EBT card. And they have all kinds of stuff. And I mean, granted, I'm not necessarily looking at their stuff per se, but the fact that they look relatively healthy, and they pull out an EBT card, and then what the SNAP card or EBT card doesn't pay for, the perishables or non-perishables, then they pull out a credit card. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, it's like, I'm telling you, it's like you could probably, just take me and like tell me to calm down. So I see it. Now, again, those programs should be for the people who absolutely need them for a limited time, no less. There should be time limits on them. But I certainly do not want to pay for everybody else's junk. I just don't. I'm sick of it. And we have not, with the program, as many billions of dollars that it uses, we still have not had a positive return on investment as far as overall health. Children, particularly young children, diabetes has gone out the roof with young children. I mean, we didn't see juvenile diabetes like this when we were younger. Right? I mean, all other kinds of diseases that you may not see until you are well into your senior years are on the rise. So we're not getting even a healthy return investment on it, let alone a financial return.
All right. Marquita, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think that they're going too far, or you agree?
No, it's long overdue. This is long overdue. I am excited about the things RFK Jr. is doing. That dovetails right into these Medicare, Medicaid benefits, SNAP benefits, all of it. Everything needs to be revisited. I believe in being equal opportunity. Every department can get it as far as I'm concerned. Check them all. First off, a lot of people are wasteful spending. I don't know how many times I hear people talk about, I'm about to buy some food stamps from someone. The people are not out here starving, okay? And if you're concerned about feeding the babies, well, that's what WIC is for. So let's have a real conversation. The obesity epidemic, or whatever you want to call it, is through the roof. You have diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease. These things are killing Americans. If you go to any other country, their food standards are through the roof better than ours. Things that we allow in this country on a daily basis and have allowed for years have been banned in other countries for years. So why are they in America? Why is no one asking those questions? I hope RFK Jr. rips them a new one. Shut everything off. Every daggone dye, everything that's synthetic, your oils, check them all. Hold these businesses and these companies accountable. I'm with Shelly. I'm tired of seeing people with the SNAP benefits with a whole daggone cart full of Captain Crunch. It's killing you. Stop eating it. The people who go out and eat the McDonald's every day, stop. It's poison. Why are you doing this? We need to do better as a society. And if that takes the government to intervene, well, so be it.
Yeah. Yana, what are your thoughts there?
Absolutely. So all these things like the food stamps and the welfare, any kind of government assistance, that's socialism. Okay. So if these people want to live with these programs, and they usually support socialism, this is a socialist portion of our economy that still, it does exist in America. So in socialism, you pay back to the government in one way or the other, and also you take you do what the government tells you. That's what happens in socialism when you're taking any money from the government. So for example, in countries where there is free education, free college education, you would have to work at a certain job that the government tells you to work at for at least, a number of years. So that's how it works in socialism. They dictate what you do with the money that the government gives you. So if you're receiving money from the government and you're probably out there, supporting the Democrat Party saying, we need more socialism, then yes, I want to give you more socialism, because now we're going to be telling you what you can and cannot buy with that money. That's exactly how it works. That's how socialism supposed to work.
Yeah, I agree. All good points. All very good points, ladies. All right. Well, that does it for us tonight, folks. Thank you all for so much for watching. Before we go, I want to get final thoughts from each of you ladies. And also, if you have any events coming up that you want to highlight for the audience, please definitely feel free to mention it. Folks, thank you all so much. We have almost over 1,300 people watching. Definitely hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We enjoy spending our Friday night with you all. As you guys know, today was supposed to be the infamous Democrats boycott DEI day. So they were boycotting Target and Home Depot and all this other stuff. So I hope you patronize those businesses today.
Oh, I got gas today. I ordered stuff on DoorDash. I mean, I had a normal day.
Yeah. Same here. All right. So final thoughts, Yana. I'll start with you.
Well, I'm very hopeful, and I do hope that after today there'll be some new developments in terms of peace in the world. So my final thoughts: keep praying for peace, and be joyful, because now it's the time of joy finally.
Yeah. And actually, before I know we want to, I don't want to hold anyone up. But what do you think is going to happen next? Do you? Because it didn't seem like Zelensky was going to back down. Even in the Fox interview, he was pretty. He does not want a ceasefire. It sounds like he wants Russia gone. So,
okay. So what should be happening right now it would be nice to see some protests in Ukraine. Some people coming out. So we do need, I mean, Democrats were good about it, going into another country and rallying people to stand up against their leadership. So I'm hoping that Zelensky will be gone. So, and what I'm thinking is that's what's going to happen. I think he will become a non-factor at some point. He will be gone, and there's going to be someone else who will make a deal.
Okay. All right. Marquita, thank you so much for coming on tonight. And this isn't your first time. You got to come back more often. What are your final thoughts for the audience?
No, this has been great. Listen, I'm always going to say put God first, but I'm very happy with the upward trend that America is making in putting America first. It's long overdue. I'm glad. I think we've got some good people in power, and I think they showed that today. This puts all the other countries on notice as well that think that they have some sort of a beef with us. They saw what happened today. Listen, you can get it too. So I'm pleased. Thank you so much for having me. This has been great. Please, again, look for me on It's Not Anger, It's Passion on TikTok, and visit bcf.com, and definitely support and join.
All right. And Shelly, final thoughts for the audience tonight?
Well, I'm going to keep trolling every time I think about it. And I forget her last name, Navarro from The View. So I'm going to say what I said that she has stolen from me. I'm going to say it. Stand up, show up, speak up, and strap up.
All right. And Joy, we want to thank you for coming on tonight. This is your first time. You definitely have to come back. You were great. Audience loves you. What are your final words for the audience?
Thank you so much. First of all, thank you, ladies. It's been a pleasure to be on this panel with these wonderful ladies. Smart, brilliant. I'm like, oh, my people. So good. It feels so good. It's like, I can breathe. And the audience has been amazing. You guys are awesome. I'm reading all the comments. People are so smart here. I do think that we are in an age of American exceptionalism. It's the golden age. And please, please, if you feel passionate about something, speak up, create, write those books, create your own podcast, print those t-shirts, put those bumper stickers out there. I don't know, do anything you can. Start creating, because so often we sit and we're frustrated and we yell at our TVs, but that's not where real change is going to happen. It's you guys, individuals. Someone had to create this show. All of us on this show are creators. So I really encourage each and every one of you to use your God-given divine rights. You were created to do amazing things. Please take your power. Satan is a liar. Do not let him tell you you are not worthy. Don't let him tell you you're too old, you're too young, you're not smart enough. Please. I've been on so many shows with people that stumble over their words, but they're doing it, right? They're doing it. That's the thing. Get into action. These next 4 years are pivotal for us as conservatives. We have to continue the fight. The fight is not over. And I got to remind everyone that Jesus Christ died for your sins. He's my Lord and Savior. I invite you. He loves you. And, if you're watching this, you're blessed. I'm going to pray for each and every one of you. I appreciate each and every one of you guys standing up for truth. Be vigilant, be strong. And if you want to follow me, all my links are down below, and get my free ebook from Stuck to Strong. It's Faith-Fueled Fitness at joyvillafitness.com.
Perfect. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. And so I'll just end like I always do. This is supposedly the last day of Black History Month, last day of February. Tomorrow is March 1st. But again, Black history is American history, and we all need to come together as Americans. We know, as Yana has said many times, I have said, that the Marxist communists are using these ideas of race and gender to divide us. But we need to come together as Americans. If you are Christian, as daughters of the kingdom, daughters and sons of the kingdom, it's not about race. It's about where do you identify in Christ? And so this is what we are all about. We are America First on here. We hope you found your home, your community of like-minded people where we can come together and say what we want and not feel censored, not feel shamed, because we love America, because we love freedom. So thank you all so much for watching with us tonight. Again, tomorrow you can check out Just the Guys podcast that is in Metro Conservative Media Production. They will be on YouTube, on their YouTube channel, Just the Guys podcast, right here on YouTube at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. They have a great show for you guys. So definitely go on there, hit that like button, and subscribe. All right. And then I will be back on Sunday with Christian Conservative with KJ and CJ, breaking it all down from a Christian perspective. So definitely check me out on there as well. All right. Until next time, count your blessings and live a life of purpose. Good night. All right.